Assalamualaikum and hi to our lecturer, Sir Hariz bin Ahmad. Now, this is a preview for the PPT presentation. And before that, my name is MOHAMED DZULSHAHRIL bin DZULKHAIRI and my seat number is 01DDT21F1023. So for the task we have to solve here, which is FTP, File Transfer Protocol. File Transfer Protocol is a relative old and most used standard network protocol used for uploading and downloading files between two computers over a network. However, FTP by its origin is secure because it transmits data together with a user credential that contain a username and password without encryption. So, we have to configure and secure a FTP server VSF TPD in a very secure FTP daemon. So to start this up, we have three tasks that we have to do, which is install VSF TP server, configure VSF TP server, and testing the VSF TP server. So for the task one, we have to install first VSF TP server. So don't waste any time, we have to put and enter sudo apt get install VSF TP server in a command line. So the packet of VSF TP we will install in this user, and then to start the VSF TPD manually, we have to put the sudo systemctl start VSF TPD. So to make this work, we have to enter this command sudo systemctl start FTPD, and then we have to open port 20 and 21 in UFW firewall. So the command is sudo UFW allow 20 /TCP, and then after the process is done, we have to put another command, which is sudo UFW allow 21 /TCP. After that, to enable the port, we have to put the command sudo UFW enable, and then the firewall is active and enabled on the system startup. So to make sure the firewall is active, we have to see the status. So we have to enter the command sudo UFW status. Once you see the status is active, this can be considered the VSF TPD is proper to work. So I think that's all. Now I will pass to my partner to continue for the task 2. Thank you to my partner ZAHRULLAIL. Now I will continue for the configuration of VSFTP server. So for the task 2, we have to configure VSFTP server, and then for the first one that we have to do is we have to backup the original config file, which is /etc /vffstpd.config /etc /vsftpd.config.bar. So to enter the or backup the original config file, we have to enter the command, which is sudo cp /etc /vsftpd.config /etc /vsftpd.config.bar. So this sudo will backup the for the original config file, and then we have to open the vsftpd config file, and we have to modify the following option, which is this. We have to make sure the modify configuration
is accurate based on the information given. So let's go for the next, which is pseudo nano. So in the pseudo nano, we'll be able to config the VSFTPD configuration. So for the command, we enter the sudo nano /etc/vsftpd.config. So the config file is show, as you can see here. We have to, based on the information given, which is we have to set the listen to no, local enable for yes, write enable yes, local you must 0 to 2, their message enable to yes, add log in enable to yes, connect from port 20 yes, add log std format yes, pump service name equal vsftpd. And then we also have a user list for enable user list file, which is /etc/vsftpd dot user list. A user list deny no, which, and last but not least we have a tcp wrapper yes. So after that, we have to configure VSTPD to allow or deny the FTP access to user based on the user list, which is in the file /etc/vsftpd.userlist. So this is for requirement that we have to configure. And then for this, which is a command that we have to configure in there, which is sudo nano /etc/vsftpd.userlist. So in this file, the user list will appear this information, which is user list enabled. Go to yes. User list file /etc/vsftpd.userlist. User list deny no. Crowd local underscore user yes. Allow writable crowd yes, and FTP user. And then for the last but not least, for the configuration of the VSFTPD server, we have to restart back the VSFTPD service with sudo systemctl restart VSFTPD on Ubuntu. So the VSFTPD will save all the configuration and work based on the our configuration that we change. So I think that's all. I will pass to my partner to continue this presentation.
Assalamualaikum sir, my name is Mohamed MUZAMMIL bin Mohamed IRUSATH. My metric number is 01EDT21F1063. So today I'll be presenting about task 3 testing BSFTP server for our BBT operating system, open source operating system. So the first step is we have to create an FTP user. The way to create FTP user is to command sudo add user FTP user. Then it will add user which we created FTP user, and then it will ask us the password of the FTP user that we assigned earlier. Then it will ask us changing the user information for FTP user, enter the new value or press enter for the default. Okay, so I have entered a new value here, which is in full name section. I have typed Muza, and for room number, work phone, home phone, and other, I have maintained the default value with clicking enter. Next, the next step is list the FTP user created in the file. It's etc vsftpd.userlist. Alright, for us to list the current user in that file is we have to command echo FTP user or symbol sudo t dash a slash etc slash vsftpd dot userlist, and it will automatically show that there is FTP user in it. Alright, so if we want to see the configuration that we have made, we can just command cat slash etc slash vsftpd dot userlist, and it will show all the configuration that we did earlier. Moving on. So the third step is test the FTP server using anonymous login and FTP user login. So first of all, before we log in as anonymous and FTP user and as a FTP user, we have to command ifconfig to see what is the INET address. So as you can see here, the INET address is 10.0.2.15. Alright. Okay, now we gonna log in as FTP user. So first of all, the command that we need to type is ftp 10.0.2.15. then it will show you connected to this network, and then it will show you name MUZAMMIL, and we have to click FTP user for it to verify this is a valid user, and then it will show you login successful. Remote system is Unix using binary remote to transfer files. And then now we're going to see another example where we log in as anonymous logger, right? So the command that we use is the same, which is ftp 10.0.2.15, and it will say connected to this network, and it will ask us to enter the name. For example, anonymous logger can be anybody. So for example, I have typed as an hacker. So the early logger's name is FTP user, so it will see whether it's matching to the FTP user name or not. So as you can see here, it is not matching, so it will automatically say that permission denied, login failed. So that's all for our PBT. Thank you, sir.